The diagnosis came, I believe we were at our 5-month ultrasound, and the technician kind of looked at the screen, and we didn't know what we were looking at, and she just kind of glanced at it and she said, which is never good. So I do remember her going out to get the doctor, and at the time we thought it was just part of the routine for an ultrasound. And then she, once she said, it looks like the foot is turned in, and she said, and what she said was, the baby has bilateral club foot, and at the time, that meant absolutely nothing. And then it was, let's talk about genetic testing, and does anybody else in your family have that? And we were both like, no, we're not even sure what it is. So, then the internet comes into play to scare you to death. So you research it, you see pictures of it, and all these horror stories. But what ended up happening was a friend of ours also had a child who had a bilateral club foot, and ended up coming to Dr. Tareko. So they had given us her name from the moment their son was much more a difficult case than Ellis was, and so from the minute we had her name, I was like, good, at least we have a place to start. I remember I came with my sister, and she looked at his feet, and she said, it's not so bad. And I was like, it's not, because from his feet were literally like folded up against him. So to me, I just thought that was the end of the world. He was never going to walk. He was never going to run. I was very just overwhelmed. But she said, and just calm and cool as a cucumber, just said, it's not that bad. So that day, I thought it was just a consultation, and it ended up that she did the casting that day. So she said, okay, Mom, let's go and get the casts on him. And I thought, wait, now? I thought I would have time to prepare and consult and everything like that. And she said, no, we just do it right here. And it takes a couple, I think it maybe took 10, 15 minutes. And she just stretched his foot out, and she just wrapped the casting around the foot. He didn't cry at all. He was always a good baby, so no tears. He winced a little bit, but she just did each foot very carefully and gently. And when he was done, he just was much heavier. But the casts are a little weighty, but it was such a relief to know that that's not all it would take, but it was something so simple that could fix something which, I thought would be the end of the world when I first got the diagnosis. It just amazed me, even from one week to the next, how much different his feet looked. They were, they weren't exactly completely turned out, but they were great. It was a huge difference from the week before. So the progress was, at the time it felt like forever, but it just, every single time she would take those casts off, it looked better, and they would turn out more. I was in the kitchen, and he was kind of, holding onto the cabinets and feeling his way around, and then he let go, took a couple steps, fell down, and we all, yay! Everybody clapped, and then felt like after that he was walking by himself perfectly fine, running practically. He would still use his little toy walker that he had, a push toy, but it was, that's when the real relief set in, like, okay, now he's walking. So, obviously that part of it, we've passed that hurdle. So that was a great feeling.